Hey, I want to buy a house.
Are you pre-approved?
Pre-approved?
Uh-oh, there might be problems here.
If you're wondering about pre-approval, pre-qualifications, how to buy a house, come along on this journey with us. I'm Vickie.
And I'm Jim, and we're with the Bishop team, your leading realtors here in Orange County, California. If you're considering buying a home in today's market, you're not alone. So we have a lot of buyers who are looking to get into that next home, but with everything that's going on with interest rates and prices, lending qualifications, it's not an easy venture, but definitely something we can help you through.
We know the current housing market can be challenging. With limited inventory and higher mortgage rates and an unknown future, it's hard. That's why it's essential to have a solid understanding of your home buying budget and options. In this video, we'll explain why getting pre-approved should be one of your first steps in the home buying process. What is a pre-approval, why they are important, the impact on affordability, and how you can get pre-approved with our trusted team. So Jim Bishop, I really want to buy a house. Now I need a pre-approval. Tell me what that is.
So this is when you meet with the lender and they're going to look at a lot of financial information. They're going to pull credit. They're going to look at your income, pay stubs, taxes, assets.
So I need to get this all together.
You got to do some homework,
Okay.
But this is really important because you don't want to get to the finish line and have the lender go, you can't get a loan. So every lender is going to be a little bit different. There are general things that they're going to need, but your situation is going to dictate what they need. If you're self-employed, if you're an employee, W-2s and things like that. If you're retired, once you sit with them, give them all their documentation and they crunch the numbers, then they're going to give you a pre-approval letter. That's going to tell you, hey, you are qualified to buy this price house with this much of a loan. Now, if you want more in-depth on the actual lending options and processes, click on the link below. We go into a lot of detail with one of the lenders that we work with here in the area, and you can learn all about the lending side of it. Today, we're just gonna talk about the pre-approval process.
Jim, why is a pre-approval important? I've done this before. I've bought a house, I own a house. Who cares? They should know. Like, I own a house, I'm just getting another one.
Well, first of all, a lot of things have changed since you bought a house in the lending industry. There's new rules, there's new regulations, there's new guidelines. Let's talk about what if you don't get a pre-approval. Let's say you see that house that you love and you go, I want to buy it.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I know. I see them all the time.
So now you have two options. You can go in there and go and try and fake it to the seller, say, oh yeah, I can qualify. Don't look at these other buyers who have already gotten their pre-approval letters and we know they can buy the house. Just trust me, probably not. You might rush your pre-approval and not, maybe you're just gonna get a pre-qualification. We'll talk about that in a minute.
So is the pre-approval, it's a letter and it's gonna tell me how much I can spend on my house? Or how's that work?
For the most part, yes. A lot of times a buyer like you will say, hey, I wanna qualify for a $2 million home based on 20% down. Now, when you get to the underwriter, they might say, hey, you can qualify for more. There's really two factors in buying a home. What you can qualify for and your budget. And sometimes your budget, maybe you don't have car payments and things like that. Your budget is higher than what you can qualify for. And then you've got to figure out, is there a way around that? Or the other scenario is you can qualify for this, but you're only comfortable spending that, so your budget is less than what you can qualify for. You always want to make sure you get into a payment that you can afford and that you're comfortable with. So don't overreach, but talk to the lender and find out what his side of the equation is.
Okay, so Jim, I'm ready to buy today. I've seen great stuff out there. I told you I got the money in the back pocket. I feel like I know what's going on. I already own a house. This is just a secondary house for me. What do I need to do to get this pre-approval letter so that I can be competitive with the other buyers that might be out there offering against the same houses I'm in love with?
Got it. So first step is to connect with one of our well-qualified lenders.
Okay.
Now, they are going to ask you, as we mentioned, they're going to ask you for documentation. They are going to need to run credit at one point. Your credit score, your assets for down payment. Sometimes they need what are called reserves. You have to have an extra 2 months payment in your pocket or 6 months or whatever. your debt.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Do you owe on cars, school loans, other properties? They're going to look at that whole, credit cards. They're going to look at your debt picture, because at the end of the day, they're going to look at your debt to your income, and they have ratios that are going to guide them as to how much they can lend you. So now earlier we mentioned pre-qualification, and that's not as good. They don't always have all your documentation. And depending on the complexity of your finances, that might take up to a week.
Right.
A pre-approval, sometimes if you're straightforward, W-2 employee, you can do it within a couple of hours, as long as you can provide the lender all your documentation. But if it's a complicated situation, it might take a week. So that's why it's important to plan ahead, so that you don't see the house you love and not be able to buy it.
Sure. So some people might be pre-qualified and some people might be pre-approved. And it's better to be pre-approved.
Absolutely.
Because we've kind of gone down the process of lending, and they're saying, I am approved to get that loan.
Further down the road.
Right, further down the road.
So in conclusion, I can't emphasize enough the importance of getting that pre-approval before you go look at homes. One, you don't want to look at houses that you can't afford and then get disappointed. You're looking at $3 million houses, and then you have to settle for a $2 million house, and you're bummed. So the other side of it is, sometimes you think, oh, I can only afford a $2 million house, and you look at those and they don't quite meet your needs. And then you get pre-approved and you find out you can actually afford more, and it's within your budget, and you can now buy the house that meets your needs.
Shopping spree!
So when you're ready to buy, reach out to the Bishop team. We will connect you with the appropriate lender that's going to be able to do a great job for you, get you pre-approved, and then help you find the house that meets your needs.
For sure. Making sure all those ducks are in a row, and that when you go in with that offer, that we're as strong as can be, so we can beat out the competition on the home that you fall in love with. That's what we're here for. We'd be so honored to work with you and help you through the process. I'm Vickie.
And I'm Jim, and we're with the Bishop team.